government has given special concern for coffee to benefit all who involved in the sector, so enormous effort has tangibly done by Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority. Private sectors have also actively participating in coffee production and export. Kerchanshe Trading Group is among private companies engaged in this activity. The company has been producing coffee in different parts of the country.
Now we are just visiting one of our farms, namely called DEBEKA. DEBEKA is located in West Guji, Western Guji, Oromia, and named after the local governance called DEBEKA. The altitude ranges from 1,200 meters above sea level to 1,500. So this altitude range categorizes the area as a middle altitude. It is known to be suitable for coffee growing. And as to the rainfall distribution and annual amount is concerned, annually we are just receiving like 800 to like 1,200 millimeter per annum. We are having just a bimodal aspect of rainfall in this area. Bimodal in a sense means in two terms. We receive rain in two terms. The first is known to be from July, August, and September, and the second comes after. It comes just at the beginning of March, and it may last for 1 month or 2 months. The first phase is somehow larger and intense in terms of rain. So, in terms of the rainfall amount per annum we are receiving, it is also categorized as suitable amount for the cultivation of coffee. And when we come to the temperature aspect, it plays between 22 to 28 degrees centigrade on average. The edaphic factor, the soil factor, it's, as you can see, it is brownish red, neto soil, and a red soil of volcanic source. So this type of soil is also known to be just ideal for our coffee. The pH aspect, it is slightly acidic, which is also known to be suitable for coffee growing. So as far as the natural environment is concerned, we are in a good condition. We are in a good condition as to the natural environment is concerned. With the edaphic factor, with altitude, with the rainfall, and with the pH, we are in good condition.
DEBEKA Farm is an open coffee production system which is owned by Kerchanshe. This farm is found in Abaya district of West Guji zone. DEBEKA Farm is first of its kind in Ethiopia as it uses the modern technology drip irrigation on field of coffee and overhead sprinkler in the nursery site.
Kerchanshe as a group is really a multinational company working on diversified businesses, one of which is the agricultural sector. It is involved aggressively working on coffee farming. That is it. We do have just 5 farms, 3 of which are just currently growing coffee, and the rest 2 now they are working on cereals or arable crops. But in the future we will be developing, we will be expanding all the farms to coffee.
Kerchanshe Trading PLC is cultivating coffee using modern way of plantation supported by high-tech drip irrigation.
So far in Ethiopia we are having like 4 systems of coffee production. One is the forest coffee production system. The second is semi-forest coffee production system. The third is garden coffee production system. The fourth is the commercial or the modern coffee production system. So far, these all farms, whether they are the traditional or the modern, the commercial ones, they are all dependent on rain, natural rain. Everything is left to chance. In that, when you get a good rain at the right time, you may fetch good crop. Otherwise, you will lose in such condition, because everything is left to the chance of getting or losing rain. It is totally rain dependent on one aspect, and they are also producing coffee under shade. That is really traditional. But here in Kerchanshe, we are just aggressively intervening the coffee production system to the modern plus stage. You see, because we are indulging into just cultivating coffee out of shade one, and the second is we are just using the high-tech drip irrigation, in which every aspect of the management, the cultivation of coffee is in your palm. You can control everything: the flower pattern, the yield amount that the crop can carry. They are all under your control. So the management in this aspect is really intensification. We are significantly increasing the yield as well. Kerchanshe, at the beginning of just entering into the business, it has started just the business with drip irrigation. But all other commercial farms in Ethiopia, they are dependent on rain, or otherwise they are using furrow irrigation or overhead sprinkler. Just in general terms, depending on natural rain versus just having irrigation, has a significant, it brings a significant difference in just productivity of the crop. For instance, those commercial coffee producing companies, they are not exceeding 10 quintal, and sometimes they may even get below 5 quintal per hectare with this rain, because everything is dependent on nature. When you are lucky, you may get better, otherwise you may lose. So there is no way to exceed 10 quintals of greenberry per hectare in that approach. But here we have been just working with this modern plus coffee production system since 3 years back, 2021. We have harvested twice, and at the first harvesting we just collected like 22 quintals per hectare. You see, this is the difference. The difference is significant. So even 100% yield increment would come because of just using irrigation.
As coffee is a global production, Kerchanshe company has invited actors in coffee production drawn from different African and Latin American countries to visit coffee planted in drip irrigation system at DEBEKA Farm site to exchange experiences.
Coffee, it is a global crop. It is a unique crop that joins the peoples of the world just exceptionally. So this forum just brings all stakeholders together to discuss about coffee, to deliberate on it, to just appraise, to evaluate its past performance, and just to put a way forward on its production. So the objective of the forum is just talking about coffee, about its production, and how of just increasing the productivity, and just to sustain the crop with human beings. I think this is the objective of the forum.
As you know, Ethiopia is one of the major countries who are seriously into coffee. So we were always looking out for, to come here, and AFCA was a good platform for us to come here with my colleagues. So that's how I have ended up here coming. Drip irrigation system is quite effective. It's done across the world. The main advantage of drip irrigation is you won't be needing a lot of water. So you're basically giving water in a very controlled manner, so that you don't overuse water, which is a very good technology which is being used across the world.
First and foremost, I work with a company called Renzori Sustainable Trade Center Limited. We support 6 cooperatives that are into coffee. We have one that is in cocoa and another that is in cotton. I came all the way from Uganda, definitely by air, and the reason I came was to attend the AFCA conference and exhibition. Here I came as a visitor, and I registered for the safaris, specifically this one, to appreciate Ethiopia coffee production right from the farm levels. This is my very first time in Ethiopia, and I've always loved to come to Ethiopia, the origin of coffee. So I'm extremely excited to be here, to learn, to collaborate, and to interact with the most experienced coffee farmers that we know. This modern commercial production system that we have experienced today is a unique one and extremely exciting to know and to learn about. One, from the time we were born as children, we've been told that coffee, and we've seen it anyway, coffee loves the shade. It's a crop that loves to grow under shade. And that's what we practice. We try our level best to grow coffee under tree shade. But that limits the production capacity and rate. So from an acre, a hectare, our production is a little low because much space is occupied by trees. But now we've seen a method where trees can be eliminated, but at the same time maintaining the environment. So the system that we have witnessed today, where a polythene bag is used to cover the root cover of the plant and minimize on rainwater consumption, so that we use irrigation system to constantly have irrigate and look after the plant is unique and quite exciting, because it controls the production of the crop, meaning you can harvest throughout the year. You decide when to actually, you avoid the unnecessary 2 seasons that we experience through the traditional approach. So you get better yields in terms of volume, and I believe also the quality is good. We've not capped the coffee yet, but when we cap it, we shall tell. But it gives us hope that you can actually maintain the soil and patterns and the nutrients well without necessarily receiving direct rainfall through the irrigation scheme. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to learn and experiment it back home.
We just bought 100 acres to do farmers coffee, and I study the best coffee in the whole planet have to be from Ethiopia. So I decided in 2001 in my mind to say, I'm going to be in Ethiopia, I'm going to be in Ethiopia, and I am in Ethiopia. In our country, the coffee is different. In our Brazil and Colombia is way different. But as in here in Ethiopia, I saw movies and from YouTube, they are different. So I curiosity to see what type of system they use it. So I decided, for first time I believe so, I decided to make a copy the way he did it here. So to help the people, the community, to learn the really farmers coffee.
The way they've been doing coffee, they are very serious about coffee, and they are already on the right path, I would say. They're monitoring the water usage, the inputs what they're giving, and they are on par with most of the other countries. In fact, in some certain areas they are much advanced, I would say, which is a good learning for us also. So we get to learn a lot of things from here, and Coffee, as you know, has been, it's every country have their own way in growing. They have their own, they follow their own practices. So it's always a good learning for us to come and see how it's been done here, so that we also take back something, and it's always a good learning experience for us.
We are planning to do traditional way, because our farmers is different. Our jungle, this is a jungle, we're different. It's a big trees, so we can plant under the trees. In some areas there are not trees, but we don't want to take the trees down. So that's what decided to use it Ethiopia ways, not to destroy the jungle, just only to plant under. So we have to use their technology, all their way they're learning. So we have to, that's what I'm here, to learn it from.
Really a huge contribution, a huge place in the economy of the nation. Because in one aspect we are working on the coffee, which is the backbone of the country. So we are producing export commodity, the first export commodity of the nation, coffee. It is coffee, So working on that is by itself is a good contribution on the GDP. One. The other thing is just we are having ample job opportunity for the local community. We create job opportunity for the community. Especially this area, they are backward in many things, in many aspects. So the launching of this company, the coming into being of this company to this area has a significant influence, a positive impact on the development and welfare of the society. The other thing is just the government obligation aspect, the income tax, the land tax, everything. This all by just discharging our obligations, government obligations. I think we are contributing to the economy of the nation. So we are contributing to it in many different ways.
If you ask me what role the company would play in boosting the economy is, the first thing would be employment generation. Okay, in a rural setup like this, when you have a farm, it creates a lot of employment benefits to the local villages, which in turn makes them very independent. So I think having a farm of this nature in a rural setup makes a lot of sense in terms of providing employment.
In the system in South America, especially in Peru, because Brazil and Colombia, they are already commercial. So in our country, in Peru, they are not that strong, the commercial. They only have different flavors. They come from different places in the jungles, different type. So that's why they have so many goals or so many winners in the coffee industry, but not big. They are only small. So that's why I decided to say, I want to be the biggest and the whole Peruvian to make a good coffee, but it have to be Ethiopia coffee, no more. They have to be the root of the coffee, Ethiopia. That's why my country and my farm, they want to have big note. They say this is coffee from Ethiopia. It's exactly the same thing we want to copy. I want to copy.
Most importantly, the organization focusing on modernizing the coffee production and marketing system in and out of the country.
Intertrading is extremely important within Africa, and it is something that our presidents should sit down, discuss and make simpler, because what affects and limits it is the infrastructure. I can tell you, for example, getting coffee from Uganda to Angola would be more expensive than getting coffee to Europe, because of infrastructure. Yeah, so that if we can solve the infrastructure challenge, then intertrading is possible. But even with the limitations, we should promote it, because some of us are within the East African region. Why shouldn't Uganda sell to Kenya? why shouldn't Uganda buy from Ethiopia? So it is extremely possible, and we should promote it and encourage it. And I think it starts from the African Union and above. So it is highly encouraged. And then two, what I've also picked from Ethiopia is promotion of domestic consumption. I've come to learn that close to 60% of Ethiopian coffee is consumed domestically by its own citizens. And I've also witnessed it just from my hotel where I'm staying in Addis. Just on one street I've counted about 6 women in the corner selling coffee, and I'm impressed by that. It's not there in Uganda. I've seen coffee shops nearly everywhere, yeah, and I've seen young people enjoying coffee during lunch breaks, in the morning, in the evening. So in Uganda we don't do that. We do in the evening, you'll find people on a beer than coffee. So I think promoting domestic consumption of coffee is extremely good, and I'm learning that from Ethiopia. It can also, you can actually manage your economy. You'll make a lot more money if you promote domestic consumption than looking at selling coffee in Europe and the rest of the world.
I'm going to do boosted the quality, and there's people they have to learn, and they make more farmers. They are farmers a lot, and there's empty. That's what they have in some areas. The water they don't go through, so we have the system they're using here. Also, we can push the water to those farmers, and we get that thousands of hectares of coffee. And we're talking about it 15 to 2,000 altitude meters. There are no coffee. So that's what my goal is, 2,000 to 5,000 to produce coffee.
What I would say is, like, as you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of delegates who have come from different countries. So when you go back, you talk about Ethiopia, you talk about Kerchanshe, like what they're doing here. So the word would spread, and definitely it's going to put Ethiopia in the world market. Like, people know what is happening here and how it's been done. So it's always going to be very positive, I would say. So it's a good platform to showcase your coffee, and AFCA is also doing a big role in this. So I would say this is the right way to do it.
The experience is the soil. We have different soil. That's what I promised to him when we have the seed from Ethiopia. I want to bring the coffee, and they can test in how the rich soil we have, and the rich soil that has volcanic rich soil that has in here is way different. But we want to see. That's what I told him. I want to see the balance. I not want to put a pesticides. I will use everything 100% organic. So that's why we agreed with Israel to say this is going to be our baby. So that's what I thought. I promised him to be his second son in Peru, in my area. It's 2,000 farmers in there. So that's what I want to teach in the 2,000 farmers.
For sure, I do see a lot of potential. There is tremendous potential. The soils are very fertile. There is opportunity for sure, but a lot of things have to be looked into, and any country for that matter. But for sure, Ethiopia has the capacity and it has the resources for setting up a big farm. That is for sure.